Hello and good afternoon. I'm going to run the Revoslots next in the GT Global GT Challenge. I've never really raced Revoslots myself at clubs or elsewhere before. I've made at least a couple for my own use and one for a proxy. So it's going to be a new experience for me just to see how this very standard class works out. The temperature in here is quite high this afternoon, as opposed to last week. It was a bit cooler. So I'm finding with my test car that we're probably running about 0.5 of a second slower. I've checked the track out thoroughly. It's not actually the track, but I do often find actually in hotter weather it runs slower, and I don't really know why that is, but it does. However, it's running consistently, so we'll make a start. And what I thought I'd do is start with my own entries first, so I'm not kind of trying to chase everyone else. So we'll start with the Marcos. We start off with the Marcos standard car. I put lightweight wheels on the back, which is allowed, of course. Seem to run a bit better with that, but apart from that, it's fairly standard, all standard parts. Okay. So a few test laps first, and then we'll do the 20. Okay, I've got the hang of that. $20 laps for Roadrunners Marcus. Okay, as you probably heard, we did have one off on the corner there, so you know, probably not the most stable of the Revoslot cars. However, this is what I chose. So I got an 8.766 of a second as the fastest lap, and a total lap time of 3 minutes and 180, yeah, 3 minutes and 65 and 56 seconds. Okay, try the next one. Okay, so next car we're trying then will be my GP3, as I'm now calling it really, which is like the prototype class for Group C cars and for LMP cars of the same period. So this is the Revoslot Toyota GT1. Everything is standard on that. I think the original tyres, wheels, everything. A few test laps first. Okay, well that's a whole different animal. That is much smoother. Maybe I should have left the other car extended as it was. $20 laps. Okay, nice, easy to run, no chance of an off with that one. So we managed 8230 lap time, fastest lap time, and we got a 2. Yeah, 169 second total run. Okay, so the third and final car of mine for the group, for the GT1 class really, which is the Lister Storm. The car I've always really loved, actually, when it was actually racing too. So I couldn't resist putting this one in for the proxy. Again, everything is standard with it, tyres as they come. No change in the wheels or anything, so it's all the standard parts. A couple of test laps there. Yeah, brilliant, like that. We'll give it a run. again, really enjoyed driving that. Probably enjoyed it driving that one more than I did the Toyota, to be honest. It was a little more exciting to run. The Toyota's very, very smooth, and stable, but that one was a little more exciting to run. So, ended up with a fastest lap of 8:447, and run time of 173.45. Yeah, Toyota was slightly faster, and the fastest lap was faster too. So now it's a chance to look at the competition as such. In the first up, we have this very nice superb looking decoration from Oxo Q. On the face of it, everything looks standard to me. Let's see how it runs. Oh dear, that's not a good sign, Kevin. Yeah, I think the motor is moved, so I'll have a go at tightening up and give it another run at the end. Okay, so having aborted Kevin's run with the Toyota, next up this is Mercedes CLK. Again, lovely decorated. I really love that. Really nice decorations. Lovely little eyes there up there on the side of the front. Fantastic. Give it a run first, a little bit, and then we'll give it the Okay, that feels really good. Kevin's done a good job on that one, I think. Not sure if they're lightweight wheels maybe on that. 20 laps tied up there. Okay, well, that's a pretty, very easy run, like that, very nice. Let's see how we come. At a 8.143, which I think is faster than mine Toyota. Yep, it is. And what we got on there? Yeah, 166.23. Very good. Okay, so this rather late entry, but nevertheless marvellously attractive looking Viper from Paint One Horse in America. Tells me he's not really done many proxies recently. I guess he must have done some in the States during earlier times, but not recently. So he had a bit of a problem initially with the postal services, but anyways, I think it's superbly decorated. Got to be one, I think, for the spirit of the event. Looks pretty standard, really. I need to put a name on there for you, though, mate. Everything looks pretty standard. Maybe the lightweight wheels, not entirely sure. But anyways, it looks great. Let's see how it runs. Well, that's very exciting. Looks very good. We'll see how it goes. Well, that's really nice to drive. Certainly more stable than my GT2 car anyway. Nice for a run. Well done to Brian of Paint Horse 1. Very nice. I'll paint one horse, I think. 8139, oh, that's very similar to Kevin. $173.81. Not quite as fast as overall speed for Kevin, but very near the same time. So, in fact, actually, when I checked the times on that, it had a faster, the Paint One Horse had a faster lap time, but slightly slower on the run time. So, very interesting. Next up is Macon. With his GT1 class car, McLaren GT1. So we'll see how that runs. It looks more or less everything standard. Guides may need a little bit of a cleaning. Get a bit of a run first. Yeah, it feels quite interesting, that. Certainly seems to have a lot of acceleration off that first part of the track, off the power. "20 laps then for Markham." Okay, so my apologies to Jerry for having got the one off. I think that was really my fault, because it's very near where the power is, so I should have taken it a bit easier. But yeah, run pretty well, I think. Picked up a bit of stuff on the way, but yeah, run pretty well. Not the fastest car, I wouldn't imagine, but we'll try. We've got an 8.357, fastest lap. At 173.78. Yeah, so it's a bit faster than my Storm in the same group. But again, although it's faster at lap time, the length of time was just by 0.2 of a second. Overall time slightly slower, so it's turning out to be quite interesting exercise. Yeah? Okay, and then second car from Macon. It's a Ferrari 333 SP, standard parts, been self-painted, so obviously made from a kit. Seems quite good, quite free. I'll give it a try. Sounds like the body mount screws is touching, so I'm just going to Okay, 20 laps coming on. Again, didn't feel like an ultra fast car, but it's very steady, very smooth. 8.384. I'm 72.651. All very close at this stage. So next up then, we got Bruma's first car. There's another Ferrari 333 SP. Brumas has entered a few Revoslot competitions in America without being that successful, but you know, maybe this is the this will prove the experience to have been worthwhile. I'll give it a run first. Okay, that feels really good. Feels actually a bit quicker than the Macon Ferrari version. Altogether, a very nice drive, really. It feels a bit faster than the last one. 8339, fastest one. was faster than Macon's Ferrari. Okay, so we've got 170. Point 02. So at the moment, the fastest is still OxoCube's Mercedes GTR, still the fastest overall time, with the my Toyota second fastest. The fastest lap time, however, is 0.1 horse Dodge Viper, 8.139, and then OxoCube's Merc GTR at 8.143. So, next up is also a Ross car, which is the Viper. Looks pretty standardish to me. Quite thin on the front tyres, I noticed. Worked those down quite well. Looks good. We'll give it a test run. This looks or feels very special, I'd say. So I'm expecting a good time out of this one. Well, if that isn't the fastest so far, I'll be surprised. Indeed it is. I know it is, just looking at the figure. .787. 160.436. Yeah, well, that puts that one in the lead so far overall of all the cars. First one we've had below 8 seconds. Of course, Brumos is from US entrants, one of our 3 USA entrants for this competition, and the other one here is ALS, a regular, so I've got big expectations for Adrian from ALS on this Supra. We'll see if he can outrun Tony with the Viper. Team ALS. We'll give it a few laps first. Okay, it feels a little bit more loose on the back end than with Tony's car, but it still feels pretty stable and pretty quick, so it'll be interesting to see how it runs. Okay, quite good. Certainly runs reasonably smoothly. Nice and steady, I would say, with that one. I doubt it's made the, no it hasn't, got below the 8-second mark. It's 8.464. What's this for? And the total time. .46 of 173.45. So we've got the second car from there. That's next. So almost finally, but thinking I've got one more car to rerun. But almost finally, ALS Toyota 1. So to beat me on that, you've got to be able to do like an 8.2 second lap time, fastest time. Looks good. I'll give it a run. Well, it feels very good, Adrian. I like it, and I think there's a good chance it'll be faster than my Toyota, I think, on that one. Let's see. 20 laps. Well, proof is in the results, as they say, so have a look. 8092. I think that's quicker. And it was. It's quicker than my Toyota GT, so I think it's the quickest in that class. It's a run time of 2:60. $167.32. So, at the moment, apart from rerunning the Oculocube's Toyota Supra, Tony certainly had the fastest by far. That time on a Dodge Viper, and second to that, I think was ALS with the Toyota GT1.